Police sources are telling us a state trooper has been shot.
Clear the street. Clear the street.
There is some evacuation taking place.
The whole area is locked down.
There are parents out walking around this crime scene, and they just can't get home.
Flashing lights.
Police streaming from every direction.
Good evening tonight. I'm Bill Fitzgerald.
And I'm Candace Burns. We have complete coverage tonight. Melissa Hippolyte and Brendan King are live in Mosby Court where the shooting happened, and Sandra Jones is outside VCU Medical Center where the injured trooper is tonight.
And we'll also speak with our law enforcement expert Steve Neal and our Mark Holmberg, who was on the scene just minutes after the shooting. We start tonight with Melissa.
The scene here in Mosby Court, incredibly active. Let me move out of the scene so we can zoom in a little bit more here. The Virginia State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigation van just showed up on the scene. There is a police plane flying overhead, continuously circling. That's been going for about 3 hours now. I just confirmed with a very high-level source that nobody is in custody at this time. Now, here's what we've heard from sources happened. A state police trooper was in Mosby Court conducting some sort of traffic stop, pulled over a vehicle, got into an altercation with somebody. That person ended up shooting the trooper. The trooper is now at the hospital undergoing surgery. Now, just moments ago, the governor of the state of Virginia put out a tweet. This has not been confirmed by police, but I'm going to share with you what it says. It says, please pray for state trooper, Mike Walter, who was shot tonight in Richmond and is fighting for his life. Again, that has not been confirmed by any police source, but that is what the governor of the state of Virginia put out there, that the name of the state trooper who was shot is Mike Walter. Now, we heard on the scanner a suspect description. I'm going to show that to you now. A black male, 5'8" to 5'10", 18 to 20 years of age, short hair with no facial hair, red shirt, medium to dark complexion.
Let's check in now with our Sandra Jones, who is live outside VCU Medical Center. That's where the state trooper was taken by ambulance after he was shot. Sandra, what can you tell us from there?
Sources tell us that he has been in surgery, but we have not learned any details as to the extent of his injuries. We know that there were serious injuries, but we don't know his condition at this hour. We've been working to try to get information, reaching out to those law enforcement sources. But again, a lot of officials here have been coming in and out of the hospital, just waiting to get word, and we are too.
Well, concerned is an understatement. I've been able to walk around Mosby Court neighborhoods just blocks away from where this shooting happened, and there are a lot of concerned parents. They say they are frustrated, and I can tell you because of, look behind me here, this is Little Page Street, and you can see all the streams of police lights. Next to that is Coulter Street, and I can describe it as like the major thoroughfare through the Mosby Court neighborhood. It's blocked off for hours. No one can get to their homes and cars. There were many parents out with children and young teens. They were panicked. They just wanted to go home, but the tragedy was preventing them from doing so. I also asked neighbors here who were here during the time of the shooting if they heard anything suspicious, and said the first thing they noticed what was wrong was they heard a flood of sirens.
I'm told the ambulance people, initially we heard that he was taken by a police vehicle to the hospital.
You mentioned that earlier.
But the ambulance crew was able to get there in 4 minutes. They were on the scene in 2. They were at MCV or VCU Medical Center in 2.5 minutes. So it's 8.5 minutes from the call to him being at the hospital. Obviously, a tremendous amount of concern.
All right, Mark, we understand the state police are about to give us an update on this scene. Corinne Geller, the spokesperson for the state troopers, she's starting the conference now.
Good evening. I'm Corinne Geller, Virginia State Police. I'd like to provide you with an update of what's obviously taken place here tonight. Right now, we have an active search for a shooting suspect that was involved in this incident. The shooting suspect is described as a black male in his mid-20s, medium build, short cropped hair.
So this is a plea. This is a final call. Enough is enough.
All right, Chief, thank you.
And are residents being allowed to stay in their homes, or is there any evacuation that's taking place?
No, there's no evacuations right now. Again, we're just actively going around to certain locations and trying to identify if this suspect is there. And again, the information was given to you as it relates to how to contact the police, local police, be it the Richmond Police Department or the Virginia State Police.
Steve, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Earlier, we were watching the crime scene that Melissa just described, how very active it was. It appeared that they were closing in, bringing in men and material, tank-like trucks, bringing them into the spot, seemingly having a suspect cornered. But we just learned that they do not anymore, that they've sort of stood down from that.
Well, right now, I think it's pretty clear to me that there is, in fact, a suspect. It's very likely that they know who that suspect is, and it's very likely that they believe that he might still be in that area. So right now, from a law enforcement perspective, it's all about the manhunt and what they're doing in order to try to find this fellow at this time.
Now, there are so many law enforcement departments here at this moment. The U.S. Marshals are here, the FBI, the ATF, all working with Virginia State Police, Henrico Police, Richmond Police. They've brought out everybody. The SWAT team is here. We saw them arrive a couple of hours ago. That's when we were being moved all over the place because police were telling us it was a hot scene, an active area, and they wanted us to remain away in a safe place. Some residents earlier were evacuated from their homes. Some are being, allowed to roam around, but it's just very fluid. And again, police continuing to search for that shooting suspect. Working for you tonight in Richmond, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
Thank you, Melissa, for that. It's a very difficult story for the entire community. A trooper's life hangs in the balance tonight. A suspect still at large.
We have a tragedy in Richmond. A Virginia State trooper has died, and the man accused of shooting him is behind bars. We'll share what we're learning about the suspect and the lawman whose death has shaken so many in Central Virginia. Good evening, I'm Angie Miles.
And I'm Rob Zier. Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday at 6 o'clock. Virginia State Police Special Agent Michael Walter died early this morning at VCU Medical Center, less than 12 hours after he was shot in Richmond's Mosby Court neighborhood.
After nearly 12 hours of a multi-jurisdiction across county line manhunt, the man suspected of killing a Virginia State trooper was in handcuffs.
His shooter, Travis Aaron Ball, 27 years of age, of Richmond, was taken into custody this morning by the state police and U.S. Marshals at a residence in Heathsville in Northumberland County.
Clear the streets. Clear the streets. Call third red.
It all began just before 7:30 Friday night when investigators say a Richmond police officer and Special Agent Michael Walter were working as part of a city-state partnership. They observed a silver Chevy Cobalt pull up to the curb, parking in the wrong direction of traffic in the 1900 block of Red Street. As the Richmond officer spoke with the driver, Special Agent Walter walked up to the passenger side, where 27-year-old Travis Ball of Richmond was seated. And according to detectives, within moments, Ball fired a single shot that hits Walter and then runs away.
It happened very quickly, almost within minutes of them even starting the conversation.
Minutes after the shooting, police set up a perimeter within the Mosby Court neighborhood and began searching apartments for the suspect. Some families were evacuated from their homes. Police say it was around 5 Saturday morning when Special Agent Walter died from his injuries. Just an hour later, the suspected shooter, Ball, was taken into custody at a home nearly 70 miles east of Richmond in the Northern Neck, thanks to tips from the public. This tragedy now leaves a police force with fresh wounds.
We're family, and like any family, these sorts of losses are incredibly tragic to us, and they have a significant impact. So it's strengthened us in so many ways, as tragic as it is.
Coach Mike was almost bigger than life.
Jonathan Tanaka coached wrestling alongside Mike Walter for years. The word selfless comes to mind Saturday when he thinks of the trooper, coach, and father.
Countless times where he would have like a 20-hour shift. Maybe I hadn't slept in 2 days, just busy working with the police force, and would show up at Blackhawk at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to take kids to a tournament and spend all day in a tournament and never once said a word.
Special Agent Walter served in the state police for nearly 20 years, but in his spare time, he helped found a youth wrestling program in Powhatan.
It's been tough, but it's been the one kind of silver lining of it is just kind of seeing the profound effect that Mike's had on kids' lives.
He's helped so many people through tough situations. He's been there for me.
Jake Tomlinson is the first wrestler from Powhatan to win a state championship. Coach Walter, as Tomlinson knew him, was there from the beginning of his career.
I don't really think I have any tears left, honestly. And I haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but it's like I said, he was the foundation.
Trooper Walter leaves behind a wife and 3 children.
Great kid.
The wrestling community in Powhatan is so tight-knit, they feel like family. They're grieving, but also remembering Walter's legacy.
Because he'll never be somebody that'll ever be forgotten. He'll be somebody that has had such a big influence on all of our kids throughout the years that I don't see that any way that could ever die out.
If we can just keep doing everything the way that Mike would want to do it, and just in that headstrong, you know, here's a goal that we have, we're going to set it and we're going to accomplish it together. I think that's what Mike would want.
In Powhatan, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Well, I come out here because I wanted to pay respects.
For Richard Williams and his wife Leslie,
so it's just a little flag bracelet, just a little thank you.
They both wanted to come here Monday.
Nothing is ever enough, but if we can just make it a point to really remember Trooper Walter and his wonderful family today.
And all day, people came. They brought flowers, they left painted rocks, they left a little of themselves. The Reese's Cups, a deep meaning to a young girl. Laurie and Tiffany brought flowers, pinwheels, candles, and their admiration.
We came here to pay tribute to all the amazingness that Special Agent Walter did, and to reach out to the family and say, you know, we're here, we love you. Even when all this craziness is over, we're still here and we'll always be here.
Among the gifts of love and respect left on and around the cruiser, a stuffed animal and homemade card left by 7-year-old McKenna Cardwell.
She went upstairs and she found a stuffed animal in a police car and she brought it down and she said, "Can we give this to them?"
For Dwight Fanuel, coming here was a chance to leave flowers and the opportunity to pray.
Putting my hands on the car was just a symbol of saying I'm praying for his family and I'm praying for this city.
And Fanuel says this tribute is fitting.
It just shows how much that he was really loved and the type of work and the things that he did for the Virginia State family community. I just think that he was a pillar in his society.
Well, good evening, Rob. As the memorial outside here at Virginia State Police headquarters continues to grow for Special Agent Michael Walter, law enforcement agencies and community members were in Mosby Court this afternoon to pay tribute to Walter. Just days after Virginia State Police Special Agent Michael Walter was killed in the line of duty.
In my living shall not be in vain.
The community and law enforcement agencies from all over come together near the area where he was fatally shot in Richmond's Mosby Court Friday evening.
Even though I didn't know him, I wanted to honor the things that he did for the community.
To honor and remember Special Agent Walter. Walter and a Richmond police officer were working together Friday as part of a city-state partnership. They observed a car parked on the wrong side of the road. Walter went over to the passenger side, and that's when police say 27-year-old Travis Ball shot the special agent.
There is no greater love than a man lay down his life for another.
Major Lynn Terry was assigned at the State Police Academy with Walter for several years.
The department lost a great man. His family lost, his wife lost a great husband. His children lost a great father. And the community that he lived in lost a valuable, valuable servant.
Now, many who live in the Mosby community are demanding this kind of violence to stop.
This is senseless. This man's life, he was here trying to help us. And it really, really hurts. Now here is information on the funeral arrangements for Special Agent Walter. The visitation will be Saturday, June 3rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Powhatan High School, followed by the funeral on Saturday at the high school at 1 p.m. For donations for his family, you can contact the Virginia State Police Association. We have also learned that there's going to be another prayer vigil here on Wednesday evening at 6:30 outside of Virginia State Police headquarters for Special Agent Walter. Working for you in Richmond, I'm Chelsea Rick for CBS 6 News.
Bill, those court documents you mentioned seem to confirm that Travis Ball, the man accused of shooting Special Agent Mike Walter, could soon face murder charges. As it stands right now, Ball is currently charged with malicious wounding and a weapons charge in connection to Friday night's shooting in the Mosby Court neighborhood. What you're seeing on your screen is pictures from a video conference in a hearing held in a Richmond courtroom today where Ball was denied bond. It was his first time before a judge. CBS 6 has also obtained a search warrant for the Northumberland County home where Ball was arrested early Saturday morning. The document shows that police seized 5 cell phones and some clothes from the home. It also says that search was conducted in the course of an investigation into a first-degree murder investigation. Again, Ball right now is not currently charged with murder, but CBS 6 legal analyst Todd Stone says he expects prosecutors will seek the highest possible charge in this case, capital murder of a police officer.
That's a potential death penalty case. It's one where the prosecutor would want to weigh in on whether or not they want to seek the death penalty, and there's a lot of process behind that. So sometimes those things take a while, and I would expect this one to take a little while.
Ball is scheduled to go before a judge once again in July as it stands right now. When we stopped by that Northumberland County home we mentioned, no one was able to comment on this case. Working for you in Richmond, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
This search warrant affidavit we got in Richmond Circuit Court today provides a lot more detail into what happened Friday night when a convicted felon shot and killed a state police special agent in Mosby Court.
The document identifies the previously unnamed driver of the Chevy that Walter and a Richmond officer were investigating that evening. The driver, quote, was in the driver's seat of a Chevy sedan on Red Street in the city of Richmond when he was approached by 2 police officers. The Richmond PD officer approached the driver's side and detained the driver. A Virginia State Special Agent approached the passenger side and made contact with Travis Ball. The driver observed a scuffle between Ball and the Special Agent. The driver then noticed a gun in Ball's hand near the agent's head. The driver heard a gunshot and noticed the agent was down. Ball fled from the scene.
Now, I'm told by police sources that without question, the firearm that was recovered at the scene was the one that Ball had in his possession, and it's being traced now. Agent Walter never unholstered his pistol, I'm told. Now, we're not identifying the driver because he's going to be a witness in a potential capital murder case. But I spoke with his father today. He said he's 22 years old and has 2 children. Up until today, the father said he never heard the name Travis Ball. Now, we confirmed today that Travis Ball had been barred from Mosby Court prior to this shooting.
Do you know the specific reason why he was barred?
A disturbance call.
How long ago?
In 2016. Everyone that lives in an RRHA community, we have a very stringent screening criteria that we check it against. But when residents move people in on their own, there's no background check. I just really want people to know that we do have good, decent, hardworking families that live in our communities, and they are not in any way excited about what has occurred over the last couple of days, no more than anyone else. You know, it takes a toll on our families and their children, just like it would in any other community.
Now, we learned today the woman whose Mosby Court apartment Ball was sharing is in the process of being evicted, even though she was assaulted by him and is one of his victims. She broke the rules. Reporting in Richmond, Mark Holmberg, CBS 6 News.
He grabbed me by my hair and slammed me down on my side, and when I was going down, he slapped me in my face. Those words written by a 14-year-old girl who told police Travis Ball assaulted her in January. Court records show Ball was served warrants for the alleged assault hours after he allegedly shot and killed Virginia State Police Trooper Mike Walter. Ball's file revealed that wasn't the first time someone brought assault allegations against Ball. In February of 2016, the mother of one of Ball's children accused him of slapping her in the face. And in April of 2013, the mother of 3 of Ball's other children reported he assaulted her and her mother. The police officer who responded to the call found both victims had visible injuries to their faces after being struck by Ball several times. Finally, that same woman told police that Ball punched her and choked her and threatened to kill her in March of 2013.
The man police say shot and killed State Police Special Agent Michael Walter has been indicted for capital murder. I'm Candace Burns.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald. Rob Nazir joins us now in the studio to break down what the charge means and why it took more than a month to be handed up. Rob?
Yeah, Bill and Candace, a grand jury handed down that capital murder charge for 27-year-old Travis Ball today. Police say Ball shot and killed Virginia State Police Special Agent Michael Walter in Richmond's Mosby Court neighborhood back on May 26. Court documents say Trooper Walter approached the car Ball was in, and the two got into a scuffle. That's when they say the fatal shot was fired. Ball surrendered to police the next day, but was only charged with malicious wounding. CBS 6 legal expert Todd Stone tells us why it took so long for the murder charge to come down.
It's very common for prosecutors to charge whatever they need to charge just to get somebody and hold on to them and keep them in jail and off the streets, and then do the investigation, and then when they get to the appropriate point, they can then indict a higher offense.
Stone also tells us Ball could also face the death penalty. We'll let you know next time Ball is in court on those charges.
So many tears in Powhatan County, Angie, seeing Special Agent Michael Walter's family just break down, listening to so many tributes to their loved one was just truly touching. So hundreds of family, friends, law enforcement, and even strangers showed up. Watch. Remembering a hero.
Mike was tough, but for all of his toughness, he was every bit as fair-minded and as just.
Virginia State Police Special Agent Michael Walter suddenly killed in the line of duty.
Last Friday night, I got the call that no police executive wants to get.
Hundreds filled the Powhatan High School gym Saturday afternoon in the community where Walter called home.
Watching Mike work at the wrestling club was truly amazing. He was a machine.
Governor Terry McAuliffe spoke fondly of the man whose bedside he rushed to after hearing the news the special agent was shot while on patrol in Mosby Court.
Sitting in that hospital ward, seeing all the young wrestlers who came in that night with tears in their eyes.
Mike and I were together, physically pressed shoulder to shoulder when the shot that ended his life was fired.
Walter was a father, Marine, mentor, and wrestling coach. Faithful to his death, one trooper remarked.
To navigate through the storm, we should be like Mike and the kind of husband he was. Mike set the benchmark of being a good husband.
And after the presentation of flags to his wife and parents, the final call.
4311, end of watch, May 27, 2017, 5:19 hours. Rest in peace, Mike.
Yeah, I was honored to be there today, and there will be a private burial ceremony in Amelia just for his family coming up at a later date, so they can say goodbye truly to a hero. And I was there on the scene on last Friday, and then to be able to attend his funeral service, I'm very fortunate. It was a very nice ceremony.
It's so heartbreaking for so many people, but one small consolation is how much good he did for so many in such a short life.
It was a very difficult night, but a very inspirational night to see dozens of these young athletes, including Walter's own two sons, take grief and turn it into glory for 2 straight hours on the wrestling mat, all in an effort to be like Mike. It's Monday night.
Oh, it was a lock.
At Powhatan's Black Hawk Gym.
Big pulls, let's go. Finish up, finish up, finish up.
Like every week.
I'm not getting run over because of you.
The drills.
Go, Sammy, go, Sammy, go, Sammy.
The drive.
Up.
The intensity.
Give me 5.
Is present.
3, 2, 1.
But it's what's missing on this night that has this tight-knit team pushing even harder.
I miss him.
Coach Zach Olson returns to the mat with his wrestling family for the very first time since his mentor, Mike Walter, was gunned down in the line of duty as a special agent with the Virginia State Police.
That's a big thing, is that we're together. No one's being left out. No one's at home trying to deal with this by themselves. But you have 4 minutes starting.
Including Coach Mike's sons.
No.
Who pushed through practice like the rest of their teammates for the man who built this club on making the most of today.
He wants us to still keep wrestling. He wants us to move on what he left here as a legacy and us to move that on to make bigger and better things for him.
As Mike did for J.D. McMillan, Coach didn't let the deaf wrestler escape due to a disability.
He kind of showed me that I wasn't disadvantaged. I was normal like everyone else. He created an own language with me and impacted my life as well as all the other kids' lives.
And it's this passion.
They're going to express themselves through wrestling and get that emotion out.
That even in the most challenging times will carry this team, this family through as the sun sets this Monday night and everyone to come in memory of Mike.
The only way we're going to be able to get past this is to be like Mike with everybody else.
Blackhawk coaches say Mike taught them that kids are the #1 priority at that gym and really family that he built, and that will always be their focus moving forward. And guys, they want to thank the community for the overwhelming amount of support that the gym and the family has gotten. They just want to say thank you.
It's had a big impact on the community and, of course, the state.
Because now we see now what he's done. What he's done. He's really built a family there.
A tough night. Thank you, Laura.